In this tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate a very simple way of deploying Flash Video using Dreamweaver. When you deploy Flash Video, you typically deploy an HTML file, a SWF, and an FLV or F4V. The HTML file runs in the browser, and it loads the SWF. The SWF runs in the Flash Player, or in this case the Flash Player plugin in the browser, and the SWF loads the FLV and plays it in a video player, such as the video player component which we saw in the previous tutorial. A common way of creating the HTML in the SWF is using the publish capability in the Flash authoring environment. So let's go back to that previous tutorial and see how we might do that. Right now we actually have a SWF because when we tested, that created a SWF. But testing does not create an HTML file. So there's no HTML file here. There is a SWF, and you'll notice, by the way, there's also a SWF for the skin. Skins are implemented as separate SWF files. To create both an HTML and a SWF, go to File. I could just go to Publish, but I'll go to Publish Settings so I can see in advance what this is going to do. And it tells me it's going to create a SWF and an HTML. So there's no HTML here now. Click Publish, and there's the HTML. So I'll just double click on that, and there's my movie. Now let's look at another way of doing this using Dreamweaver. The first step is just to create a new HTML file. And this is just a generic HTML file. It's empty. I'll save it. I'll save it over this 0204. So it positions me by default right in the middle of the body tag, and that's where I'll insert my video. Go to Insert, Media, FLV. So I can choose progressive download or streaming. I'll stick with progressive. Find the FLV file. There it is. Choose a skin. I'll stick with the default. Detect the size. This is optional, but I'll go ahead and do that. Now it knows that it's 720 by 396. Do I want to autoplay when the video loads? Yes. Do I want to auto rewind at the end of the video? I'll say yes to that too, and click OK. So this creates a lot of code. Let me just go ahead and save this. I could use Control S, and preview it. This is actually not true. I don't need a newer version of the Flash Player, and I'll comment on this in a coming tutorial. Click Allow Blocked Content, and there's my movie. And notice, by the way, that this uses that auto hide feature. When the cursor is over the video, the controls are visible. When it's off the video, the controls are hidden. One other thing that you need to be aware of here is that there are several other files that are required in order to make this work. Two of them you can see right here. The FLV Player Progressive, that's actually the main SWF, that's the player, and also the skin. And Dreamweaver puts those in the same directory as your FLV. But in addition, you need this one, SWF Object Modified JS, that's a JavaScript file, and also Express Install. Now in this case, Dreamweaver put those in a scripts directory at the top level of this project. So you would have to locate these files similarly online when you upload if you want this to work using this path. If not, You can relocate these files in some other location when you upload, but you'll also have to change this path. So that's just something to be aware of, that these files are required to make this work, and they have to be able to be found by the HTML because it's coded into the HTML here. And that concludes this tutorial on deploying Flash using Dreamweaver.